Okay, now that we have likes working, we're going to just do followers as well. So followers is one of these things that I think I've done a little bit different every single time that I've had to do some type of social media, like following followers and friends. So this one, we did a very simple database. So we have a user ID, a follower ID, follower user ID, and that's it. So to get more information, you could join on one of these columns to get the actual user information. But this makes it super simple so that, okay, let's say I want to follow somebody. So that means I'm the user ID and the person I'm following is the other user ID. And then if they follow me back, they take the action. It's their ID as user ID, and then my ID as the follower user ID, and then that means we're friends. So I could search the database. Okay, find my user ID everywhere in the user ID column. Find my user ID everywhere in the follower user ID table, and if there's any matching items between those two arrays of IDs, that means we're friends. And friends is how we get information to show up on this page. So right now this home feed is just showing all of the most recent videos. And typically there would be an algorithm that feeds you the images, but right now it's just showing everything. But this friends one's different. So the only content that we're friends with, aka I follow them, they follow me, it would show up on here. And then the same thing for inbox. We only want to be able to chat with friends, but we can still follow people, but we just can't chat with them until they follow us back. So it works a little bit different in TikTok, but I like that idea of chatting. I think in TikTok they allow you to message up to 5 times, and then if there's no response, you can't chat anymore. I think that's a little bit more complicated, but this is a little bit more straightforward. It makes more sense. If you're actually friends with somebody, they'll follow you back. At least I would hope so. So let's close out some tabs and let's go back to the home screen. And then we want to be able to, not the home screen, the video. So this is where we have each video is going to have its own user ID. And so that's why on this video we have the user ID of the person that created the video. Okay, so we're going to add a new function called const follow add user, follow user. Yeah, follow user. Naming is hard. Okay, so it's the follower database, or follower table. We're taking the action, so we want our user ID. Follower. I think I renamed this 20 times. I'm gonna try to make the most sense. Okay, so we got video. So that's all we need. But then we want to do the same thing with likes. We want to be able to store an array of people that we've liked. And this way, we could also show that count on our profile when we actually create that profile. So first we're going to also add unfollow user. So delete where our user ID and the video user ID. Okay, so same thing down here. We want to, so this actually icon, we want to keep it so that it clicks to the profile, which doesn't exist just yet. And we're going to add a little button. And okay, so it's filling the width of the whole object, so we kind of want to do absolute. There we go. Not on the head. Let's do bottom right. We wanted to do absolute to this object, so maybe put both of these. There we go. Let's do negative bottom 2, negative right 2, little offset. Sure, that works. Actually, I should do 1. Okay, I'm not following any design, so it doesn't really make a difference. But and then once we add that, it's going to follow a user, and then if we want to, so we don't have the followers just yet, so we won't do followers. So let's first go to auth provider again. Let's do get followers, rollovers, follower, where the user ID. So we're getting it. So this is the confusing part. This wouldn't be followers. This would be people we're following. So let's do both actually. So get following. I don't know what to call this, but and then const get followers. So followers would be someone that follows us. So it wouldn't be a user ID. It would be follower user ID, where our ID equals the user follower user ID. So that's our followers, so people following us. And then our following. So to check to see if we should show this plus or not, to see if we're already following them, is get following. And then we want to create following, followers, following, followers. And then export it. Defined up here. And then set likes, set following. You want to do if no error, set following. No, if no error, not data. Okay, if no error, set followers. Okay, so now if we go back to the video, we could do the same thing with the likes. So we want to do, we got to import it first. So following, no. So following is what we want. We don't care about followers just yet. So we want to see if this, the user of this video includes where the follower user ID equals the video user ID equals, okay, there we go. So that means if it's greater than 0, it exists. Otherwise, it doesn't. So let's just add a minus. Remove. White. So we want to do. Okay, so this means we exist. Oh, I'm put in the wrong spot. Add. Okay. Our following, the person we're following includes the user ID of this video. That means we're following them already. So we want to show the remove and unfollow user method. Otherwise, we're going to be able to add them with the follow user method. And then if no error, get following. If no error, get following. Okay, let's try this. So right now we have no one in the follower database. We want to be able to add this person. We have the ability to like and unlike a user, and the next thing we want to do is actually be able to, and we can still go to this profile, so that's a big thing too. We want to be able to click, but then also like, unlike. So the next thing we want to do is actually do a profile. We have two instances of profile here. This is our profile and then the user profile. So we want to be able to create a component that uses the same kind of layout in both areas. And because we're storing likes, or because we're storing followers and following and likes already, actually likes is a little bit different. Likes is what we're liking. So we're going to come back to that in a second, but let's go to the profile page. So first we create it in profile, and then, which doesn't currently exist, but will exist of our profile picture. And on click, we're going to use the same library functionality that we're using to upload a video. We're going to upload a photo. But right now, we don't have that. It doesn't exist. So we're going to come back to that in probably the next video. But just get to outline right now. And then yep. The beauty of tailwind. The beauty of CSS, it doesn't actually error, it just doesn't work. So it's not clear what's going on. Okay, so what we want to do is add a function like add profile picture. But we're going to come back to that in a second. So add this to onPress. Okay. And then we don't need BG white because that's default. I'm going to put this in a safe area view. Okay, and then below that, we want to be able to put the amount of likes or followers following and then likes received. So that's where the difference between likes and likes received are. So let's see, let's create a new view. Flex row. Oh, we do need a username actually. So put it right below at username. But that user is gonna change in a second. So user.following. So we can't do user.following, but we did store it here. Let's see. Oof, 0. And that's because, oh, I removed it. So let's fix it first and then we can check it out. View. And then we want to do space around, justify around. It's that full. There we go. Okay, so we got at username, nerd. Let's add some margin around this. my-3. And then we only want to show this if the user, so, okay, we're going to start moving this to another component now that we have the layout, right? So I got following, 0, followers, 0. So let's go, if we go to following someone, it should actually be, yes. So now we're following someone, so it changes. So now we have the base of our profile. And what we're going to do next is move this over to its own component. So let's create a new file called user. Yeah, let's do profile. .tsx. So instead of getting this information here, we want to pass it in as, well, we're going to pass it in probably through the routing first. So import it. And the reason we want to do this is so that you could pass it in here instead. And this means that this auth user from the profile, we know this user is always going to be us if we navigate it from the profile. But if we were to navigate from the user, it's going to be different. So we want to use different values. And so we don't want to just use auth. We'll always use like your person that you're logged in as. So actually we still want to do use auth. Sorry, const user as auth user. So we need to differentiate the two. So we only want to show this log out button if the auth user equals the user ID. Let's not click that again. So let's pass in the same thing here. So if we go to user, we want to be able to use the profile. That's what we're going to do. Okay. We have the user ID, so we could call get user. So const get user. We could select from the user's table. From the user table, where the ID equals params.user ID, and just get 1. If error, return data, and then we could call const user set user react dot useState, import react, and then set user to data, and then get user. Well, we only want to call get user on params change, so let's put that as a dependency. And then we can log data to make sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we get the, let's do params dot user ID. There we go. So notice how we pass in params, they're always changing, so it keeps getting called infinitely. And then we pass in a specific ID, so this is the only thing we care about. It only gets called once, which is perfect. And then here, we're gonna pass in this user, and it's gonna be expecting a lot more fields. So we have users. I don't know why I put sign out. There we go. Profile doesn't exist. Well, it would be helpful to import it as well. Would have thought. Who would have thought of that? Okay, so now let's check out this user. Oof, looking a little rough. Let's see, flex one, not item center. There we go. Okay. So the confusing part is that we're the only user. Actually, let's try this out. We can go to the search page, type in someone else, test. And we can add a route to this item. So, and then we have to import router, const router, import it. So we go to the user ID. So we could try someone else's other than our own. Test. Boom. Okay. Now we can go to someone else's profile and we can still see our own profile that has the sign out button. But right now I'm manually putting in followers and where is it? Right now I'm manually putting in followers and following. So let's see what we want to do with this. You're going to be calling your own following and followers a lot more than somebody else's. So I think it's fine to get it from the profile. Again, we're at the point where we're copy and pasting a lot of the functionality, so that's definitely a good sign to create components around it. So we have profile, so we want to get const following, set following followers, and then we want to do get following and get followers. I'm going to set following followers, following. Just add it to the same call. Okay. Get user. Okay, so they're all calling params, so user ID. So following is the people we're following. So user ID, followers are people following. So we're the follower ID. We want to log if it's erroring. We want to set followers. We want to set following. And let's try this again. Test. Should be 0, 0. There we go. Still 1,000 likes. I gotta come back to that one. And then 1 and 1, perfect. In this video, we did ability to follow, unfollow, and then it creates an array of followers that we can use in other pages. So we personally don't have to call who we're following and followers every single time. And in the future, we could use that to get our friends. And then we could also do that for inbox as well in profile. So we're going to just keep on adding more functionality from this point forward.